Hey first graders, I'm here for a pretty quick video talking about math lesson 2.7, which is called Labeling Counts, which we're going to talk about labels and what those mean in regards to math. So I'm going to pose a quick problem for you. Henry has 10 in his backpack. Mike has 1 in his backpack. Whose backpack is heavier and how do you know? Henry has 10 in his backpack, and Mike has 1. Think whose you think might be heavier. If you think Henry's backpack's heavier, tell me why, or say out loud why. Or if you think Mike's is heavier, say out loud why. You might be thinking I left out some information because all I said is Henry has 10 in his backpack. What if it was 10 feathers and Mike had 1 brick? You might have said Henry because I said he has more, he has 10, but you didn't know what they had in their backpacks. So let me retry the story. Henry has 10 paper clips in his backpack. And Mike has 1 pumpkin. Whose backpack is heavier and how do you know? So now we know that Mike's backpack is heavier because 1 pumpkin is much bigger or heavier than 10 paper clips. So I want you to think what was different about the story the second time I told it. What was different the second time is that I told you what items were in the backpack. The second time I told the story, I said there was 1 pumpkin and 10 paper clips. The first time I told the story, I didn't tell you what there was at all. Did you need that information that I forgot in order to answer the question accurately? You sure did. You didn't know the important parts that you needed in order to get that answer right. Whose backpack would be heavier if they both had pumpkins? So if Mike had 1 pumpkin and Henry had 10 pumpkins, it would be Henry because 10 pumpkins is heavier than 1. Okay, so what we just did there was realize that we need to identify our units and we need to label them. We need to tell people when we use math, 10 what? You have to tell them what you're talking about. So you should always be using your unit. So if you say the number 5, if you just say 5, you don't know if that means 5 pennies, $5, 5 books, 5 desks, any of those things. It could be 5 windows, 5 chairs. If you don't say what comes after 5 and what the unit is, you're forgetting to label it, and people will be confused. So what we use in our math program is called a unit box, and it's where we write what we're talking about, the unit. So if I say a problem that goes like this, Onelia had 5 kittens and she got 2 more kittens, the unit we're talking about is kittens, okay? If I say Lily had 12 bows and now she got 2 more bows, the unit we're talking about is bows. So you need to know what we're talking about in the problem. And we're going to label that in a unit box. I'm going to hold that up so you can see that. See where it says unit, and then underneath, that's what the students and what we would write is pennies. So if the story was about pennies, we would write pennies in this, and it's called a unit box. So in our math lessons moving forward, you might see this in your journal where you need to label what the unit is from the problem. So just remember, if you don't have all that information and you're thinking, man, I don't even know what this math problem's talking about, it doesn't have a unit, okay? All right, I'll talk to you soon, friends.